Flosstube, it's Kerry and Stitches. It's Friday the 5th of June and I'm recording this with an audience today. So it's going to go horribly wrong. I hope you're all well and have had a good stitchy week. Mania is over. So in today's stitchy video I am going to wrap up my mania, talk through some plans for June and talk about teeny tiny bit of goodness that's come through the letterbox. So actually, and through the email too. There we go. So I hope you're all keeping well. It's been much of a muchness here. We got to meet up with a friend on Monday, which was absolutely wonderful. We sat in the garden 2 meters apart and chatted for a couple of hours and it was fantastic. And my daughter got to see her best friend. And they walked around the garden with 6-foot garden canes to make sure they socially distanced and drew, taught pictures and just poodled around outside and had a lovely time together. Unfortunately the weather's now turned here and it's been just a bit wet and miserable and grey for the last couple of days, so it's not really let's sit in the garden kind of weather for a while. Hopefully it's going to pick up again next week, we shall see. And we can do it all over again. We've got my son's timetable back for school, so that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. He goes in between 2 and 4 hours a week on 2 days. So, well, some days he will only go on one day. Some other days he'll do 2 hours on 2 different days. We'll see. It looks very well thought through. We had a 17-page document from the school outlining it all. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I'm not overly nervous about him going back to school. He's okay with it. So we'll just see how that goes. I'm sure you'll get an update in one of my future videos. So I'm going to go back to fortnightly recording for my regular Flosstube update, and I've planned back in lots of specials. Now I definitely have my editing team back. So look out for new things, and Andy's been playing with various bits that he can do in editing, which is great. I just leave it to him because he does really well with that kind of thing and I'm hopeless. Although not having the computer has taught me how to upload a video to YouTube. So there we go. So anywho, so let's crack on. So when I left you last week I had 3 of my mania starts left to finish, and I was planning and hoping I would get those done. So without further ado, let's go through. Did I get them finished? You can watch my Flosstube later, or just listen now, lot. Told you, audience. So there we have. Oh, Bent Creek. I'm recording back on my phone this week and I'm confused. Noel by Bent Creek, and there's a couple of changes. The border was supposed to be in blue spruce, but I had this lovely Noel thread by Weeks that I used for the border, and just did the bottom in blue spruce. I forgot what it's called then. So those are my couple of changes. So I'm pleased with that one. So I finished that on the Friday. And then on the Saturday I had a really bad sinus headache, and I've been getting sinus headaches for most of this last week now, which has been a bit miserable. But Saturday I could barely do anything. So, but I did manage to finish this. So, and there's I don't know if you, oh yeah, you can just, I put a few beads in, and this is for my mum, and I'm pleased that this is done too. Well, I'm pleased that all my finishes are done, but it's about the. Oh, I've just noticed that I've missed out a stitch, one of the stems there. Oh well, not quite a mania finish, but we'll call it a finish because I've already credited it from Stitch from Stash. I need to put 1 stitch in it. Anyway, it's supposed to be done in fly stitch, and I just spent an hour fighting it and not getting anywhere, so it's just done in back stitch, and it looks very much like the picture in the book. And finally, we have Piece by Blackbird Designs, stitched predominantly in the called for. I think there's a few changes here and there. one of the trees halfway, I think it's this top tree, was supposed to be done half in heirloom gold and the other half in piney woods, and it just looked weird to me. It looked like the tree was dying from the ground up, so I just stitched them and just changed the trunk colours and things. Did I do anything else? I put our surname in rather than my first initial. Well, not our surname, the first letter of the initial of our surname. And the flower has, oh, can't see, a little tiny eyelet for the centre, which I like doing little specialty stitches like that. They're fun. So I think I've done Smyrna's, Algerian eyelets, satin stitch, obviously back stitch. I did some fly stitch on the things. I've done couching. So I've done a fair few. It's been nice to do a few specialty stitches during Mania. So those are my Mania finishes, and that was all of them. So I finished 11 PM on the 31st, and so I did finish all 18 Mania starts in May, which I'm super pleased about. And I've got, and I can see I've got quite good peripheral vision, and I've got Lottie giving me doing this and Andy doing that. So yeah, the pitfalls of recording during coronavirus. Right, so during the first hit, and I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. I feel I need somebody to tell me. So I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that this is the current cross stitch magazine that's out, that I flipped through a couple of weeks ago. It's issue 358. So I really liked the two cover designs. So I knocked out the little broachy thing, using beads instead of French knots, because beads. I knocked that out over the last couple of nights. I'm not going to turn it into an ornament. I've kind of got an idea for it, so hopefully that will work out. Running out of space. And then I started the other cover thing, which is their summer sale, which I'm looking forward to stitching. And I've just pulled out my stash and sparkly green Ada. I'm not entirely sure what the colour is. I've had this for years, and I just started the border. So we'll get some of that done. Next one comes out on the 15th, so I'm hoping just to hopefully get that done. Let's put that there. And I decided it was about time I started Alice. There we go. I started and decided that I just was not, as much as I love this Chromatic Alchemy fabric, which is Midas, it's beautiful, I'm really struggling with all the back stitch. So I went and bought some Ada for it, which I'll show you my haul. So I'm going to restart that on Ada, or just in that tiny bit I'd already made a mistake, and I was just finding it frustrating and hard, and I clearly lost the ability to count. So this is the cross stitch a year long Alice in Wonderland sale, and I have 954 pages here, so that's what the border looks like. And then each month there is an Alice character that looks something like those. So I think part 6 came out, 7, something along those lines. Let's have a quick look. So not a clue. I don't think they've said. So I can work it out based on where the Mad Hatter goes. So we've had obviously the full border, and then the Mad Hatter that was released in this cross stitcher goes in this block here. So we've had the full, so 6 parts if you include the border. Oh, so many things out at the moment. away as well. And move. I need to get a project bag out for this because it's over 3 months. Right, what else have I been stitching on? So last night I finished a brooch and felt like stitching on Elizabeth Shephard. So this is my reproduction sampler by the Scarlet letter, and that was Elizabeth Shephard 1820, and was gifted to me by, well, a stash pass by my friend Jo, who is Serendipitous Stitching on Facebook, in the blog world. I've had this for 2 years. I started it January 2 years ago, and I still have only that much done. But we now, yesterday I managed to get a Isabella done. So, and I love stitching on it. It was just one of those things. I picked it up and was like, this is so easy. It's on some fabric. I can't remember what it is, and I haven't pulled. I didn't. No, and the thing's over there. I think it might be the red one. Not. Oh no, red one on the sofa. Got 2 red project bags out. No, it's the. Pass me the bag, and I can work out what my fabric is.
One good thing about ordnance.
Yes. Okay. So scribbled on an envelope. It is 32 count. No, it's not. It's not linen. Whatever it is, isn't in here anymore. So I would have to count it. I don't know. Probably 32 count, probably. And I'm guessing it's just an antique white because it's got a kind of cream to it. So that's Elizabeth Shephard. I'm hoping to get a little bit more done on her this month. So, where are we at? So as I said, I'm going to restart Alice, and I just ordered the called for fabric because I just wasn't. I'd hit that point where I was kind of like, just order the called for. You don't have to think then. It is just parchment. Parchment. No, it's not the called for. This is 18 count. It does call for beads. So I've got a lot of red beads left over from Maynia, and I ordered some gold petite beads as well. An extra skein of DMC. And steamed broccoli from Classic Colourworks to finish kitting up. Let My Example Shine by Chessie and Me, which is kind of the next thing I want to start. So let's pop that over there with the Alice stuff, and that can just stay on the table. I also, a couple of weeks ago I showed you I bought Doreen Jones. I finally printed it out now, so that's that B Pendibule. And I also bought yesterday Darling and Whimsy's latest Bee Design Bee Suite. Deanna is offering at the moment in her till Sunday in her Etsy shop 75% off. All her profits are going to Black Lives Matter charities, so it was definitely the right time to support that. There are several other shops doing that or have specific patterns that are doing that. Lollypop Stitches, Michelle Bendy Stitchy is donating I think 100% of her profits to a charity, and it's completely just gone out of my head. Something zero, campaign zero. So I do really encourage you to, if you've had, especially with Michelle, it's her whole Etsy shop. So if you've had your eye on a chart, maybe go and buy one. What else? There are several designers that have done a couple of. There's a few free designs. Fiddlesticks AU, Beth Twist designed a beautiful sampler too. Witchy Stitcher I think's done one, but I think that might be in her Etsy shop. Lollypop Stitches has designed a chart, so I'll link as many of those as I can below, and I encourage you to go and check those out, educate yourself, and keep the conversations going. So what else did I get in the post? 120 charms, as you do. yeah, so those are to go on the back of all my ornaments. And then I had a little special box that came through, and I'm thinking, I wonder what this is. And a beautiful friend gifted me the most special needle minder that came wrapped in a box that was then wrapped in tissue paper. But I've kept it all because I'm terrible. I loved it. So wrapped in tissue paper with some a tea, which is aniseed, fennel and cardamom. Just in a bag, in a box, which was wrapped in, has a little sleeve on it, and is tied with ribbon. Some cards. So the box contained, and I'm just going to pop that off, this amazing needle minder, and I'm going to get it to focus. No, I'm terrible at getting things to focus. Needle minder by Agnes Little Minders on Etsy. Her minders are absolutely amazing. I know a few people have some of her minders now. Oh, and it's got bits of fuzz from the box. So it's beautiful in the little gift box. I absolutely, you know, I love my bees, and I am very thankful to my beautiful friend who sent this to me. It was a complete surprise. So you know who you are. And came with a couple of little cards and her business card, and I'll link that below. I'll link her Etsy shop below so you can check them out, and care instructions and everything, all in a lovely little envelope with a sweet little note. So that really was a lovely, oh, about to drop a needle, lovely surprise. Oh, and a lollipop as well. My dear friend Steph sent me a lovely rainbow card and a rainbow to say thank you for sending her some cover kits. So that's been this arrived 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's been hung in our window from the minute it arrived. So but I just thought I'd share just that, just lovely. She embroiders so neatly, and it's all jingly. Okay. I tried out the English paper piece and glue pen. It's kind of like just using a standard glue stick, so but it's obviously a bit more precise because it's more of a pen shape. It worked really well, and I don't know whether it's the fabric or whether I need to just try and get it a bit tighter. I don't know. So it's teething troubles, not troubles really, but you know, I need to do a bit of experiment. So I'm just using some cheaper scraps of fabric at the moment just to try it out. But it certainly holds well, so I'm pleased with that. What else? I'm trying to think what else we got. That thing flew into my head and flew back out. Plans, there we go, plans. So plans are, I'm going to stitch a bit more on a bit Elizabeth Shepherd, so I'm going to restart Alice. Not that I've made much of a start to start with. Restart Alice, and try and stitch my June Lizzie Kate stamp, because we still have May up and we're on the 5th of June. Lizzie Kate. Oh, and the cross stitcher summer sale. Want to try and get some work on that done. So hopefully I can have it up in the summer. And that's about it really for plans. It's just going to be, I think June's definitely going to be a kind of stitch what calls to me month. Although my mania was an absolute and complete success. Although I was talking with a friend yesterday who said I must be one of the only people whose manias ended up with less whips than when I started, because I started with 8 whips and had 18 starts and ended up with 7 whips. So not really how mania is supposed to work, but I had great fun doing it all. So my whip my whip tally at the moment is technically I'm calling it 7 at the moment. just because I've barely made a start on the other two projects. I suppose 9 now, maybe 9, so we're still in single figures, and my finished tally for the year so far, so January through to end of April I'd had 19 finishes, and during May I had 19 finishes, so we're at 30, so with the little bouquet that I finished yesterday, brings us to 39 finishes for the year. My target is 50, so I'm well on, 60 finishes this year, so I am well on my way to hitting my goal of 60 finishes for this year. At this rate I may even make it by, I don't know, the end of the summer. So any giveaways, let's move into giveaways. Probably should have taken the elastic band off first. Let me just have a quick look. Okay, the dog bookmark was Sarah Paulson. I think I've got your address, Sarah. I think. I'll have a look. If not, I'll comment on your comment. And the stitchy bookmark was Elizabeth Wiggin, and I have your address, I'm fairly sure too. So I'll get those in the post. I've got others from a couple of weeks ago that I still haven't posted. I haven't been to the post office in 2 weeks, so I'll get everything in the post to those who are waiting for things in the next week or so. Oh, I've just buried this week's. So, as I've just done a Christmas mania, and I'm planning on doing Christmas in July too, I thought we'd have some Christmas ones in June, because why not? So we've got the Gingerbread House by Leslie Tier. So if you'd like to stitch that, say you'd like to stitch the Gingerbread Cottage. And we have a little Margaret Sherry kit, so I'd like to stitch the Margaret Sherry, something along those lines. Margaret Sherry, Gingerbread Cottage. Stick it in the comments below and I'll draw these in a fortnight. So next week should be part 2 of my stash dive video. I've got lots of plans for the rest of the year. I'm hoping to do a couple of stitch with me's, maybe once a month or something like that. So maybe pick out some of the tags. I know Carla at Rolodex Stitches did a tag not so long ago, and Christine's done one fairly recently too. So I might do a few tags. I don't know. We will see. I've got plenty of ideas, so I'm hoping to keep up with weekly videos, just with one with a regular update, and then alternating with a special edition of some description. So that's pretty much it for this week. I'd like to stay safe, take care, and happy stitching, everyone. Bye bye.